What are you limping for? What happened?
Sprained my ankle.
Are you on the injury report?
No, we don't discuss injuries.
Okay, well, that's actually a pretty good point right there. At least don't let them out. Okay, what do you got?
Against a pretty good Eagles front last week, it seemed like
Yeah.
they held up really nicely in pass protection. What did you feel about that?
You know, the thing is, like we've been talking about for a couple of weeks, we took another step forward, which was really good. Russ made a great check, you know, and there's a couple of those zero checks and the one big ball down to Doug. And then everybody did right. And that's really what we've been talking about is just be where we're supposed to be, communicate. If he makes a check, you know, everybody be in the right place, and we did that. So hats off to the quarterback on that one, but hats off to the backs, the tight ends, the linemen. And that's what we've been trying to do, just get better.
How much has the addition of Dwayne kind of helped settle things in, too?
I think you can see it. You know, there's consistency over there, and then you got Luke coming back. He had two struggles, and then the rest of the night he was really good. So Jermaine, Ethan, you know, all those guys kind of improving together. So I think it's a result of having him and having that consistency at that spot.
Called up Joey Hunt this week. What role does he have, or what kind of went in?
Just seeing where we're at as a roster, and he certainly worked his tail off, and he's kind of earned that right too. And so kudos to him to, you know, get himself back on the roster that way.
Does it help you at this point, too, to have a backup center that's not starting at right guard for you, too?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you figured it out. I mean, that's really what's going on. He's worked hard to do it. The roster allows you to. And then, you know, with our situation with Ethan playing all the time, it gives you a little bit more depth there now at the center spot.
How would you describe the growth of the line from week 1 to now?
They're kind of what we set out to do, you know, see if we could keep getting better, if we could consistently improve. We're doing that. We got some real challenges ahead, though. And that group last week really put it to us, and so showed what we can be capable of going forward. And then we got another group this week. You know, they've got, aren't they leading like the whole thing in sacks and all that kind of stuff? So tremendous challenge. They're really, really, really good up front. And so we look forward to the challenge again, see if we can get better.
What is it about their pressure that stands out to you? Is it the fact that each guy can do it on his own?
Yeah.
Is it pressure packages? Or
Yeah.
how do they do it?
You know, last week was pressure, meaning added, you know, rushers. This week it's really the skill of each individual, two tremendous edge rushers, and then all those guys inside, they can win one-on-one. So it's more about you're matched up individually with a really good player, where against the Eagles, you had good players plus added rushers with the blitz package.
How
You
did
had one
Mike
of
Davis?
Go ahead.
You had one of your best run games last week. Does that correlate at all with the fact that you have your top 5 linemen in there now?
No doubt, and it also goes to his question. You know, he's asking about Mike Davis and his contribution, and you would like your back to have 100 yards of offense, and if he gets 100 yards of rushing, that's great, but we're working on that. But to have a back get 100 yards of offense was pretty cool. He stayed healthy, was able to go out there the whole game, and I think that helps us, you know, going forward for sure. Having all those guys play together helps, and then Mike stepping up like that is big.
Pro Football Focus, which is very subjective, said that up until the last 4 games, you guys had the 30th best pass protection in football, and I think over the last 4 you've been 6th. Is that overblown, or do you think towards the beginning of the season that maybe you were struggling that much?
No, I don't. You could argue how they judge all that. We look into that. We have to. What we want to do is just get better, and so we kind of known where we're at the whole time, and we didn't really listen to that because we thought we're not as good as that 6, but we thought we were better than that, and then there's been some times we're better than everybody, and so it's just a matter of being consistent and improving.
Yeah, I know you talked when you picked up Mike that you really kind of remembered what he did in South Carolina and all of that. Is there something that I guess is, you know, the San Francisco numbers don't maybe translate as well that happened there that he's doing differently now? Or?
I don't know that. I know that, you know, and I say to him, you know, these last couple games that he's played, and then he got injured, the one before that, and this last one, I want to see South Carolina. What I remember him coming out before the knee injury was a guy who was a game changer. He was special, he was sudden, he could run it, he could catch it, be explosive, and, you know, that's all I want to see. I think when guys get their opportunity, they get to show who they are, and hopefully we're seeing a little bit of that of him. And you know, when I look at the film and I think back to his college days, he was special like that. He could play in space, he could make people miss, he could run physical, and so we'd like to keep building on that as we go forward.
talked about wanting to have stability in the backfield. Have you seen enough from Mike Davis to stick with him?
This is the NFL. So what he did last Sunday was nice, and so he's got to do it again this week. I mean, that's just the way it is for everybody. And I like what I saw. Can he do it again? Can we do it again?
What do you need to see up front in the run game to build upon that and push forward? And what's the next step that needs to happen for it to take another step in the run game?
Consistency. We're starting to eliminate the negative play. We're starting to, have those 2s and 3s early in the game, which is what you want, positive play. I'd like to see us finish better in 4 minutes. We had 2 situations against Philadelphia, and I didn't think we did very well offensively, and that's all of us. And so that was our big stress this week. If we get in that situation again, we got to do better late in the game.
How would you describe the collective personality of that offensive line? Because you've got a lot of guys that are not very outspoken, but they play louder.
Yeah, it's a fun group. I think they're growing up. I mean, we've been talking about this for a while now. And so what you're seeing is a product of them growing up together. And you add a couple players in there, that helps. The consistency of Dwayne helps. Personality-wise, they're unique. They're good. They're an O-line group, and they're growing up that way. And so going forward, it should be really cool.
Do you think getting a 10-year veteran like that to kind of join that group is sort of the key to helping them gel?
He's a piece of it, but really think about it. He's been here, 4 weeks? 4 weeks. Really, it was in motion. I think he's just, if you ask Dwayne, he'd tell you he's fitting in.
Dwayne said he wants to finish his career here.
Great.
When you look at this group that you have right now, is this something that you're saying, hey, this would be awesome if this was the group for the next 4 or 5 years?
All that stuff's out of everyone's control. There's players, there's all kinds of things that go into that, but you certainly would like to keep your group together. We had a nice group a few years ago, and it just changes, and there's a lot of reasons why. There's free agency, there's injury, there's this, there's that. None of that's in our control. We don't worry about that. If it stays together, good for us. If it doesn't, then we'll just keep building and go forward. That's what we do.
Really long-term question on that front. You do have Dwayne under contract for next year now, so he's going to be your left side guy. Is George possibly a guy when he gets back healthy you try out on the right side, or how would you kind of view him long-term?
I think what Jermaine's doing is good. So I don't. Yeah, but you didn't say Jermaine. He's playing really good. You don't. First thing you got to do is get George healthy. So that's all speculation. That would all be forward thinking to the nth degree. First, we need to get him healthy. He's got a pretty severe leg injury. And then when that happens, let's talk about where he plays, who's still here. So that's probably too far out to answer.
Anything else? Thanks.
All right, thank you.